Hey, travel trailer friends, it's time for your exciting shipment update for the October numbers from the RVIA.org. And I know you're probably thinking, well, man, it's December. Well, keep in mind, these numbers are always reported 4 or 5 weeks after they actually take place. So we won't really know how they end the year on shipments to dealers until sometime late in January. But we do have October's numbers, so I thought we would talk a little bit about that. Just like last month, it appears to be really stagnant news on the shipments, except maybe for fifth wheels and truck campers, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But again, let's talk about what they're really comparing to. They're comparing to a bad year, 2024, when they talk about their growth rate. It would be better if they used a 5-year running average, and I may do that at some point just so you guys can see what that really means. But right now, for all the shipments for the year, they're at 2,000 or 297,477 units, and that puts shipments at 3.6% over 2024 for the year. But let's break down October's numbers. In October, the travel trailer shipments were down again, and this time they dropped down to negative 9% over October of 24. And if you remember last month, they were down 4.4% over the previous month. And now for the year, they're in negative territory at a negative 0.5%. And again, like I said, that's comparing to a really bad year. And this has been really a bleak year for travel trailers. And like I've said before, I've never seen anything quite like this. For October, fifth wheels were up 24.9% over October of 24. They were down from last month's gain of 29.1%, but the total shipments were 6,198, which is up about 1,085 units when we compare to last month's shipments. So year to date, compared to 2024, they've gone to being up 21.2%. So that's probably a good thing. Pop-up campers moved into negative territory this month, and they're down 15.8%. And year to date, when compared to 24, they're down 2.8%. Truck campers had this unexplainable positive wild swing last month that we talked about, where they had gone up by 72.9%. This month, they're up again by 34.8% over October of 24. Now, again, I'm not really sure what's going on in that category. The last in 2 months have put them up to 26.7% positive for the year. And, just like pop-up campers, whenever they ship so few of those that when you have a mild increase in numbers, it tends to swing that pendulum pretty far. But there's obviously something going on in this category because I've never seen anything like that before either. It's definitely positive, something positive happening, but I don't know. Let's see what happens next month and see if there's a correction, but I kind of don't think so. There's obviously something happening in that category. Now, I won't spend a lot of time talking about motorhomes, but A's and C's were up when compared to October 24. A's were up by 15.9%, and Type C's were up by 21.8%, but Type B's, the camper vans, were in negative territory when compared to October 24, down 8.8%. However, for the year, A's are barely positive at 3.2%, and B's are diving deeper into negative territory at 1.4%, and the C's are at 5.7%. So not great either. Overall, the motorhome market has now dropped only 3.6% over 24. And again, motorhomes are a lot like the pop-up campers, and they don't ship a lot of those, so take that for what it's worth. Now, overall, when comparing October 25 to 24, there were 352 less shipments this October. So even though the RVIA CEO states, and I'll quote him, this latest shipment report shows that overall the RV industry continues to make moderate, steady gains for the year, and we are on track to surpass last year's shipment totals. Well, the report doesn't really reflect that, although we do have November and December yet to get through. However, our November and December, really good years for moving trailers. I mean, you could pack a dealer's lot with them, of course, but as far as sales, I don't think those are great months for movement. So I really don't think this month's report is great news for the RV industry. And the problem here is that the bread and butter of the RV industry is travel trailers, and they're trending down. So keep in mind, shipments mean nothing as far as sales. It just means that they've moved them to the lot. The more reliable indicator, of course, would be vehicle registrations that have happened through the DOT. And again, when you compare that to 24, 24 wasn't a good year. But those registrations now in 25 compared to 24 are down 4%, and that's according to New Trader Insights. So that obviously leads to a higher level of inventory at the dealer lots with not really the ability to get rid of the trailers they have. So what can you take of all of this? It might be a buyer's market for travel trailers and pop-up campers and Class B vans, van campers. So since those categories are struggling, maybe that's a buying opportunity if you're really interested in it. So anyway, that's my recap. I know I kind of shot through it fast. I know it's kind of boring stuff, but I find it, relatively interesting. So until next time, happy camping.